So we're gonna get started with this Cardi B civil lawsuit. So welcome to my channel. It's gonna be quick because it's late at night. I got trial myself in the morning, but we've seen how this trial is playing out. So let's go over the complaint. So this attorney filed this. I have looked him up. He's a pretty reputable attorney. So it's Amani Ellis versus Belcalis Almanzar. So that is who it is. It's a complaint for damages. She alleges assault and battery, IIED, which is intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent hiring, training, supervision, and retention of employees, negligence, false imprisonment, violating the Bain Civil Rights Act. So comes now plaintiff Amani Ellis against Belcalis Almanzar. Plaintiffs have informed and believed that she is an individual living in the county of Los Angeles. So it says February 24th, 2018. It is subject and is located at 8920 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. Plaintiff is ignorant of the true name. So let's get down to because there's a doles 1 through 30, doles 1 through 50. So she says plaintiff realleges each and every obligation contained in paragraphs 1 through 6. Okay, I guess. By and through the corporation on or February 24th, 2018, plaintiff was lawfully working as a security guard on or near the premise of the subject property where defendant Belcalis Marlene, Almanzar was assaulted and battered plaintiff by violently, unlawfully, intentionally, and suddenly and maliciously striking her about the head, face, and body, placing plaintiff in grave fear for her life and physical well-being, and legally causing plaintiff to sustain injuries and damages. Defendant Belcalis Almanzar also spit on plaintiff with multiple profanities and racial slurs against plaintiff, who is African American. Belcalis then used her, so we're going to just say Cardi B, then used her celebrity status to get plaintiff fired from her job. Defendant security guard named herein as Doe 1 also assisted in causing plaintiff injuries. In doing so, plaintiff believes that Cardi B intended to make harmful contact with Amani's person, and no time did Amani consent to any of these acts. As a factual and legal, so they were getting into this, so they just said intentionally and suddenly maliciously striking her about the head, face, and body, placing her in grave fear. So I don't think that this complaint is that detailed for them to be going back and forth about the complaint. I'm not a big fan of like attacking charging documents because I feel like courts and us as the layman's person understands a charging document isn't going to be perfect. So I'm not like a super fan of like attacking charging documents either way. I just think that anything written by an attorney is just like whatever, right? If it's a declaration under penalty of perjury, that's different. But this is not. This is a complaint. It is a verified complaint, I believed. And so what a verified complaint means, I don't see a verification, so I actually don't know if it's a verified complaint. Does it say verified? It just says complaint. Because some complaints are verified by the defendant saying that I verify that this is all true and accurate information. So that is the first cause of action, which is assault and battery. It says that aforementioned acts of Cardi B were committed and done willfully, wantonly, and maliciously, and said intended acts were oppressive and committed to in complete disregard of Amani's rights, feelings, and well-being. At all relevant times herein, each of the does 1 through 30 were acting within the scope of his or her agency. So this part is for people who they think may be her bodyguards or something like that. Moreover, said owners, founders, and partners and managing directors of the subject subject property, which I'm assuming is the hospital that she was at. So IIED, it says on about February 24th, plaintiff was lawfully working as a security guard on or near the subject property, assaulted him and battered plaintiff violently, unlawfully, intentionally, and suddenly and maliciously striking her on the head and well-being, also spit on her. Behavior was extremely outrageous in that plaintiff attacks by an individual with special training and experience in physical assault. The behavior of Doe 1, so she says she was an individual Plaintiff was attacked by an individual with special training and experience in physical assault. I mean, what? I don't know that Cardi B has special training in physical assault. She like some karate expert. That's crazy. Plaintiff informed and believes that Cardi B was involved in the purpose. Plaintiff is informed and believes that such information and belief. So the only thing I don't like about this, the aforementioned were committed and done willfully and maliciously. As further act, plaintiff was preventing her from attending her usual occupation. As further aforesaid acts, defendants and each of them plaintiff required an unpredictable period for the future. And it says that she had the services of doctors, physicians, nurses, and related professional services, including drugs, medication, x-rays, and medical attention. So that's where she's trying to get her money in. The other money ticket that I saw that I didn't highlight earlier was where she said she got her fired from her job. That would be more money. This is was injured at her work, so that's the money ticket. That said disabilities will garner permanent disability. I don't know about that. She didn't look disabled in court today. So those are like her big ticket items. Let's go down. That was IIED. Negligent hiring. It says Cardi B had a duty to care and supervise and retaining their. Also, I think this is her. But she only sues Cardi B, right? It's only a Cardi B, so I'm confused on this one. I don't understand this one. It says defendants had a reasonable duty in care and hiring, training, and supervising and retaining their employees and agents at the subject property. Said defendants and each of them knew or in the reasonable exercise of diligence should have known that Cardi B was unfitted, incompetent. So they're talking about that defendant Doe 1. So she's saying that this is Cardi B's security was not good, and was not trained properly. That their recklessness caused harm to her. It says plaintiff was injured with her health, strength, activity, sustaining injuries to her body. So I don't see defendants, and each of them knew or should have known the defendant possessed violent tendencies and would engage in inappropriate, dangerous conduct in the presence of plaintiff and assault and batter her while acting as an employee of defendant. Defendant security guard, here named as Del 1, assisted in causing the injuries to plaintiff. Plaintiff informed and believes that defendant's negligence and carelessness was the cause. Assaulting and battering plaintiff. As further, okay, so now we're going on to negligence, which is just negligence is always the easiest loophole. Negligence, I think, has a 4-year statute of limitations, so it's always a good loophole. That she was assaulted by Cardi B. She was maliciously struck her in the head, face, and body. Same thing. Defendant security. Okay, so it says also spit on plaintiff, leave multiple profanities, racial. Same thing. Use your celebrity status to get her fired. That's more money. Defendant security guard, here I am, also assisted in the injuries. Negligence and carelessness. She was injured for the activities. False imprisonment. False imprisonment is another one I'm gonna highlight. During her employment, Cardi B intentionally and unlawfully exercised force and menace to restrain or detain her. It's interesting. Where is that? Those defendants restrained, detention, or confinement compel plaintiff to stay on or near the premises for an appreciable time. Plaintiff did not consent to the restraint. As a factual legal result, she was injured. We said that. She had a shock to the system. That's the shock, the conscious thing. After further and factual legal result of the foresaid, and each of them required for an unpredictable time in the future requires services of doctors and physicians. This is her saying she's going to need doctor's care. So I'm not understanding this. So she was false. So during her employment, Balconies intentionally exercised force and menace to restrain or confine her. Defendant's restraint, detention, or confinement compel plaintiff to stay on or near their subject premises for an appreciable time. Okay. Violation of the Bain Civil Rights Act. The Cardi B verbally and physically threatened and intimidated plaintiff with deprivation of her rights and bodily integrity and her right to be free from attack from assaults and battery. Defendant used her celebrity status to get her fired from her job. Same things. The only thing I would want more in this complaint, which to me, I don't know, right? So she asks for, these are her damages, which, is there a specific damages? Okay. She seeks general and specific damages. So what general and specific damages are, and general damages can be whatever the judge or jury seems fit. Specific damages can be for specific injuries. It's just general. Special damages. So she's claiming special damages for her earnings, loss of job. So those would be under the special damages category. So in addition to your regular, maybe your medical, your pain and suffering, you may also get special damages where like these are the like specific amounts of money. Punitive damages are always to deter from future conduct, right? That's what, and it's funny they wrote that because that's literally what I always think of when I write the word punitive damages. Treble actual damages, in which in no case shall be less than $4,000. So I've never really seen anybody ask for treble. I have to look that up. I've actually never. Let's see. It might be. Let me look it up. Oh, I have seen that. I just never seen it written like that. That's the triple. You ask for your triple value. I've just never seen it pled, but it's a term that indicates a statute permits the court to triple the amount of compensatory damages. So that is true. Civil penalty of $25,000. I think that goes with the assault and battery attorney's fees for costs, which is usually your filing fees, right? Because you have to file fees. So outside of your attorney's fees, there's also costs that are paid to the court. So it doesn't look like, I don't know, there's no specific amount for general and specific. That would be your compensatory damages, your pain and suffering, all that wrapped into one. Special damages would be her loss for job security. It's probably not a lot. I mean, she's saying she can't work at all, so she's probably claiming a lot, but I don't see that being a lot. Punitive damages, it depends on the judge or the jury. It can get out of control. Treble damages, civil penalty, and attorney's fees and costs. So I would doubt she would get attorney's fees and costs, but I don't know. So that is the indictment. That is what we're looking at. Like I said, for me, I would like a little more facts, because a lot of times, like we saw with the Diddy trial, I think in LA, they do take the complaint with them, or they can ask for the complaint. So to me, this complaint is well written. It's well pled. The only thing I just question is that it's just not a lot of facts on what happened. Which I think is why Cardi B's team was eating her up in court today. And they kept bringing up this complaint because it just seems like the complaint doesn't have a lot of facts. And so it kind of makes it seem a little disingenuous, right? Like, but the other smart area about not pleading a lot of facts is that you can always add them later, right? Like if you plead two specific facts that are verified, you lock your client into a set of facts. So while I would like a lot of more facts, because I think that maybe it could be explained, because Cardi B says the lady was trying to take unauthorized pictures, I would like to know, like, well, why did she attack you? Like, and not why did she attack you, because there's no excuse if you're physically assaulted, but what happens? Like, you're a security guard, you told her she couldn't do this and she became enraged. I would think that is enough to be in here. Of course, like the specific facts, you don't want to get so specific that you tie your client down. But for me, I could see why this complaint became an issue. Just because to me, it's just not a lot of facts. Like, you put the fact in here that she's African American. Okay. I think that that fact is a play for the public, not a play for the court, because there's a whole lot of ridiculous debate about Cardi B's race. So I feel like this, to me, is a play for the public, not a play for the court, because profanities and racial slurs, here's the thing. I mean, we're talking about a jury, right? A jury will probably see Cardi B as Black, right? Or Afro Latino, right? Like, I think that the questions that we have in America are more of what we know, but the average general person, right? Like, we have to be honest, that's what they see. And sometimes we miss that because, and that's why I'm, for me, it's just whatever, because I feel like as internally we divide each other up, light skin, dark skin, Afro Latino, but others, the general consensus, we're just all the same. So I think that was not for the courts. I feel like that was for, or the jury, that was for the public. But that's just my opinion. These are all my opinions. These are not legal advice. Then used her celebrity status to get her fired from her job. Well, did she use her celebrity status, or did her job just want to stay out of it? But I just, like, she said Cardi B assaulted and battered plaintiff, unlawfully, intentionally, and suddenly maliciously striked her in her face, by head and body. She was in fear for her life and well-being, and legally caused plaintiff to sustain damages. She then is also spit on her. But like I said, I would just like to know, because to me, I just feel like this is not enough facts to me. Like, yes, it will pass the smell test, I'm sure. It passed demur. But to me, I'm just like, this to me is just like, it's just so basic pled that it matches with Cardi B's attorney's allegations that her story changed. And I'll tell you why. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I do practice civil, but not personal injury. I have done some personal injury, but it's not my regular practice. But I have won personal injury cases and gotten payments for my clients. So I'm not going to say that I'm inexperienced in personal injury. But I will say this. One of the things that I have an issue with, and that I see why Cardi B's team is like hopping on this, is that when people's complaints, if you have a confident plaintiff, they're going to be confident and put their facts in there. This doesn't give me confident plaintiff. So let's see, ask AI assistants. Let's see if they're going to summarize it. I've never done this before, so I just want to see how it works. Summarize. Let's see. It's taking a long time, so I don't know if it's going to work. But yeah, so that's my thing. Let's say, what are the main themes? Let's see if it works. I don't know if it's going to work, though. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know. Okay, so I don't think it's going to work. But, so we went over this complaint. We're going to do a summary of day one. I thought day one, we're going to do a quick little summary of what I thought of plaintiff in her interview. I think Cardi B takes a stand. I believe somebody said tomorrow. Like I said, this is a well-pled complaint. I just don't know what the end result will be. I will say off the top, I would not, if I were a plaintiff's attorney, this is just me, I wouldn't be super happy with her presentation today. I think at some point she seemed like she had an attitude. She was so over it. And I don't know why I'm like, you didn't watch the ASAP Rocky trial. We're going to get into it, but I just think that people have to have better demeanor, because you're telling the jury this ruined your life and this is your day in court. I think the leaning back, swinging in the chair, looking bored, it's impossible. Like, to me, if that were my day in court, I would be crying. I would be like, like, it just seems like her attitude is just not there. But that's just me. I'm going to look at the whole thing all the way. I did see parts. That's just my opinion. This is not legal advice. This is all my opinion. We're showing this complaint under fair use just to have a conversation and go over it, right? I don't know anything for fact. This is just all my interpretation, right? I'm not like on a Cardi B's legal team. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm not on Imani Ellis's legal team. These are just things that I pick up that are my opinion. I hope everybody enjoys watching that trial. I think it's going to be pretty short, so I'll have time to catch up and we can go over the verdict. So everybody have a great week. It's Monday. Happy Monday. Bye.